Hello there, welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper. Thank you for stopping by my channel today. I am working on an art journal cover, so get comfy and let's get crafty. So I realized I had not made the cover for my Mission Inspiration 2023 art journal yet, so I have found a piece of pattern paper that will fit inside the front cover of the binder I use, and my first order of business is to cover this with clear gesso. I'm using clear gesso because I don't care if the pattern, the ABCs, show, but I am going to be using some water and liquid products on this paper, and I don't want it to peel up or fall apart, so that gesso will give it kind of a coating or a layer to protect the front of this pattern paper. So I've just applied that with my brush. I'm kind of moving it around my work surface so it doesn't stick down. I am going to heat set that with my heat tool, and once it is dry, I'll flip it over and go for the back, and I just want to make sure it is really nice and dry. I've selected a palette of blues and greens with a gold acrylic paint, and I'm going to be doing some paint smushing. I'm using a couple of different methods. The first color here is kind of a pewter with a mica in it, and I'm using a wet paint brush to add water to that. And I'm just going to pick that paper up and pounce it. That put a little bit more pigment on than I thought it probably would for some reason. I don't know. I don't hate it. It's exactly what I wanted, but I thought it would be more watered down. So we're going to heat dry that layer, and then we're going to add a green. The green was a little bit extra. So I found this little micro spritzer thingy that I have in my stash, and I added some water, and I moved it around with the paintbrush. I felt like it was too watery, so I added some more paint. And, well, it's a little bit of a thicker pigment than the pewter gray was, so I did have to add some more water. And I picked up my page and kind of rolled it around a little bit. I'm going to clean up what's on my work surface right now. I've gone back to using my glass work mat or glass surface because it cleans easier. It does kind of give it a weird color sometimes. I don't know. I love it and I hate it. I did pick up my heat tool and dry it, kind of move that water around a little bit. I pounced the front down on my work surface, and I'm going to dry it back the rest of the way and just clean up that other pigment that came off. So I have kind of these puddles of pigment going on my page right now. I'm adding kind of a turquoise or a peacock green. I decided that the spritzer added too much water, so I'm using my paintbrush again. And this time I'm going to pull out a piece of acetate. This is just the packaging of a stamp set. And I'm just picking up the ink with the plastic and putting it onto my page. And clearly my green was not dry enough because I did pick up some of the green paint. Now we're adding a lighter blue. Sorry for my voice, y'all. I have what they have started calling the 100-day cough. I have had this cough forever and ever and ever. And even after a course of steroids, I cannot get rid of this cough. So between the gravelly voice and the cough drop required so that I can speak, I just sound like I've got a mouthful of, I don't know, cotton or something. Anyway, we added the light blue onto the desktop and just pounced the page on it. I'm cleaning off my acetate and my work surface here. We are going to add a little bit more of that blue. This is a lighter blue. I'm using the spritzer again. Because this pigment is lighter, I'm okay with it being a little more intense using the spritzer. So I just wanted a little bit more of that lighter blue pigment. I'm using blues and greens on the background because my focal images are going to be pinks and reds. So I'm kind of using that whole opposite color thing. Again, just pulling some of that peacock green back out to add a little bit more. I felt like that dark jade green was just a little overwhelming. But in the end, that's going to be covered up, so whatever. I'm going to heat set all of that acrylic paint on the front and the back. Now I'm going to add the gold. The gold is just a focal image, or not a focal image, I don't know what the right word is. It's just a little bit. I'm going through this chicken wire stencil with a makeup sponge. the makeup sponge does kind of get a crust on it with the acrylic paint. So after you're first dabbing in that paint, it doesn't soak too much of the paint into the sponge, which I like. That means I'm putting more paint onto my project than into my sponge. So I've got a little bit of that gold, and you cannot really see it on the video. In the photographs, it's there, but you cannot really see it. I did want to add a little bit more of kind of thicker pieces or thicker sections of that gold without overwhelming that chicken wire pattern I had already added on. So I just added a little bit onto each corner. I also have this tag that I'm going to be using for the label on my page. I'm going to go around the edges of this tag. This is a craft tag, and it's actually 2 or 3 tags thick. I purchased them for a different project at Christmas time and then did not end up using them. Again, we're going to heat set that, make sure it's all nice and dry. And now it's time to figure out my... okay, the first thing I decided was I needed to thicken this up a little bit. So I pulled out a piece of cardstock. This is like a 65-pound cardstock. It's not super thick. I don't want this to be so thick I can't get it down the insert, the front cover of my binder that is my art journal page. So I've added some tape, tear-in tape. It's a really strong double-sided adhesive to the edges, as close to the edge as I could get. And then I'm putting Tombow Mono glue in the middle, just so that the whole page sticks down. Clearly my gold paint wasn't quite dry because when I flipped it over onto that white cardstock, it transferred a little bit, but whatever. I am using my Fiskars trimmer to trim this down because I have that. You can use that wire right along the edge of my page, and it just cuts a perfect, right up against the edge of that paper that I already had working on. So now that I have that all straightened up, I'm going to go ahead and put my label on. I have used a leaf die to cut out a bunch of leaves from some green pattern paper. This die is one that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, a gazillion years ago. And it has 3 different sizes of leaves in it, and I just really like it. The flowers that I'm adding are from an ephemera pack that I think I also got this at Hobby Lobby. To be honest, I can't really remember because the package ripped, so I put it in a different packaging. So I'm using that monarch butterfly and 3 colors of roses and all of this greenery. And I spent all of that time figuring out how I was going to lay those flowers out and did not put them back down where they were before. I have no words. They just, yeah, I don't know. They just did not go back the way they were. The greenery pretty much stayed in place, how I had planned it out, to be hanging or poking out from behind my label tag there. The tag does have a hole in one end. It's, meant to tie on to a gift bag. And I think that's why at the end I decided to rearrange my flower to kind of cover up that hole in that tag a little bit. But whatever, it still works out. It works out. So for the label on my page, I have printed out, it says Mission Inspiration 2024. I have one of those little thermal printers. My daughter gave it to me for my birthday. And I'm using my really old Stampin' Up! Punch that mirrors the shape of the tag. And I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off that. It did take me a minute and a half. And I'm going to just put that right down in the middle of this label. And that's the whole cover. Like, this project was more in thought than it was in assembly, to be honest. You can see the gold a little bit more there, but still not a ton. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed my video. I have a couple of other videos here that I think you will like. I've added a subscribe button. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you did. Leave me a thumbs up and a comment down below. Tell me how your week went this week and what crafty projects you got up to. Have a really fabulous day.